Hi everyone, welcome to my ranking of the Police Academy films. Now, this is a series that as a kid I liked some of them and hated the other ones for them, and the same today. I've rewatched them recently over the last couple of weeks, have been reviewing them, and of course I'll leave, as always, a link to the playlist of the individual reviews if you want to check out them after or before, this video. But this is just my overall thoughts and the actual ranking. Yes, some of these I hate, and some of them I like and really like. One of them I absolutely love. Now, it's not a popular series overall, and critically especially. Not taken seriously, and a lot of the time, yeah, warranted. But I think there's definitely some really underrated films here. But we'll start off with, unfortunately, and I reviewed this a couple of days, or maybe yesterday. It's the worst film, unfortunately, I've ever seen all the way through in recent memory, and that is Police Academy 7, Mission to Moscow. This film is diabolical, and here it is, of course, on the part 3 of the collection, and this is a piece of shit. It goes beyond what a comedy can do to offend. That is really an understatement. This was such a pain to watch. It was unbelievable on every level. Not a single point in this film worked. No minute was bearable, and it was about 90 minutes, not even that. And every single frame was shit. This film, I would not recommend other than just to see how bad it really is. But it's voted as one of the worst films of all time, and I would say, yeah, this is just disgraceful. The humour is so gross out. The gags, none of them work. They're just so immature and offensive and over the top. There's no control throughout this film. 1994, directed by Alan Mehta or someone, a disgrace to cinema and the franchise. And this really is rock bottom. It's got 3.4 on imdb, and it should have less. It's that bad. It's the worst film I've ever seen all the way through, and it's Police Academy 7. Next up will be Police Academy 5. The assignment at Miami Beach, and this is also dreadful. That's not quite unwatchable. Police Academy 7 actually. Really check that review out to see what I gave that. But this, I thought this was an awful film still. But it's a masterpiece compared to 7. But it's still an absolute disgrace and among the worst films I've seen in my life still. It's just Police Academy on holiday. There's no drive to the film. There's no drama, no tension. None of the comedy really works. Aside from a couple early bits, where Harris and Proctor in the plane, and it's just because it's not got the other characters in the film really, and it's kind of funny. There's a couple moments here and there. Generally, this film is a disgrace. Again, the editing is disgraceful. All of the references, to like Apocalypse Now and stuff, are just so annoying. And just like they have no right to do that. All the characters are shit. It feels like an advert for Police Academy. It's just a terrible film full of jokes that really do not work, and they just offend, and they are just gross out. The acting and the script is so B grade. It's just disgraceful. It really is. Do not recommend this, other than once again to see how bad it is. And I absolutely hate this film. But it's miles better than 7. That's not praise, but it's a shocking film on every level, and I hated it as a kid, and for good reason. I hate it now. Next up is Police Academy 4. Now, this film was the first one that really took a dip for the franchise. Mahoney and everyone was still there, but they weren't like they was in the first 3. They were very unlikable. All it was just them sort of bullying Harris and stuff, who made a return after being absent in 2 and 3. And a lot of the things, there was a couple of funny parts actually in the first 20-25 minutes, and the ending wasn't awful, the actual ended act, but the rest of the film was really. It was gross out humour, very lazy writing, editing was disgraceful. They ruined characters like Zed and everyone. Just nothing really likeable in this film for the most part, and just poor comedy. Very, very bad film, and it's just awful really for the most part. It's just really saved a little bit by the first 20 minutes, but it's still a really bad film from me. And I didn't think it'd be this bad, because I did kind of watch this one a little bit as a kid. The first 4 I did, The rest of them I hated, but yeah, it's not a good film at all. Really, really bad comedy, and nothing's really taken seriously. There's no control, no groundedness, and a wasted potential. Shame. But yes, Police Academy 4. So next up is Police Academy 6. Now this film, here it is. Of course, it comes with 7 on part 3. It's it's better than the other ones, that I've mentioned, purely because it's not quite as gross out and over the top. And the first half of the film is, it's mediocre actually. It's not actually that bad. It does have some groundedness. It has some control. It has some well-written scenes actually. And some good slapstick actually. And it just doesn't go. It's not as lazy as the rest of the ones I've mentioned, and it's not as over the top. But it's still actually a bad film in the end, because certainly the second half of the film really, again, just becomes crap really. Over the top, not funny, just not funny as a comedy, and just never really, the characters are just annoying in the end, and it's a bit bland as well. As a final act, the way it's lit and everything, it's just very, very dark, and it's just really, it's not anything to praise. It's just better than 4, 5, and certainly 7. But still a film that I don't like. I just don't hate it. So yeah, Police Academy 6, City Under Siege. The next up will be, so the first 3, of course, are the ones that I like, and I think they're far better than any of the other ones. People, these films are still pretty underrated for the most part. They've not got 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. All the other ones have got that, and that's understandable. But yes, at number 3 would be Police Academy 2. I think that this, they will come on this one. It really is, certainly until the final act, it is a good film actually. It's quite grounded for what it's trying to be. It's well written. It's got an actual story that keeps it at bay from just going out of control with the gags. Some of the newcomers were good in it. Mahoney's partner and stuff, and just it portrayed the police stuff really well for the most part. But the stuff with the gang is the things that let it down. Zed in this film is not good, although I did like him in 3 and 4. Not 4, sorry, just 3. But yeah, he's not too good here, and just that gang stuff is just way too much for me. A lot of the stuff is over the top, mainly with the gang. It just doesn't work, but it has got some grounded, actually smartly written and funny cop drama stuff going on. And Mauser was really good in this film. The first one with Proctor as well. It's a decent film overall. It's let down by its final act again though. It's average, but I did like it for sure. Next up, again on this set, is Police Academy 3. Now, the number 1 and 2 I really, really like at least, and this one again, it's let down by its final act. It's a bit, it is very bland, and it's very just. It goes off. What they were doing with the rival of the two academies was really, really good throughout, and it just kind of got disappeared in replacement really for a generic kind of final action act with a lot of campy stuff, and just didn't make sense really to just chuck that in there at the end. A lot of the bad comedy that comes from this film is at the end as well. It's all lumped in, and it's not throughout before that great, like my number 1 pick, but it is really good a lot of the time, and I really, really enjoyed it, and overall I still really enjoyed it. It's just the final act in particular that brings it down. It never quite reaches the great levels that the number 1 pick does, of course. And for me, yes, Police Academy 1 is for me the best Police Academy film, and it's by far for me the best. It's the one that's on my favourite films list actually, believe it or not. I gave it a 97%. I thought it was a great film. The first 5 minutes is a bit rocky, and there is a couple flaws here and there throughout, minor flaws, but really it's a stunning comedy. I absolutely love it, and the stereotypes are well written stereotypes. Can you believe it? and I really think this is one of the most underrated films of all time. I love it. I love this film so much that it's on my favourite films list. I love all the characters, and they have the best character development in this film for me, easily. It's not got some of the over the top stuff that happens in all the other ones, really, to some extent. It has the most grounded, sense of the plot and everything. It's not, it just doesn't let itself down in the final act. That's some of the best stuff, actually, for me. It's just so, gives me the shivers, actually. And all these characters, the music and the use of music, the comedy, everything really works in this film, apart from the first 5 minutes. You've just got so much great stuff going on. The progression of them actually training, coming into their own and stuff, is just so good, so compelling. But it's also hilarious, from start to finish, really. Harris and Mahoney, that relationship dynamic's one of the best in any comedy, full stop, actually. And the writing is really just great for the most part. It's just great. It's just a stunning film, and it's full of charm. It's great comedy for the most part. It's just great character development as well. It's a comedy that, like Hot Fuzz, maybe, that it appears to just be a comedy at first, but it's really, once it goes on and it gets towards the end of the film, it's quite touching, actually, and it's actually quite really human. I love this film, and for sure, the best Police Academy film. And I just love, in particular, all the characters like Mahoney, Tackleberry, and everything. It's just the best for me. They're at their best. Everyone's at their best here, really. And it's just got a couple of flaws, but really, for me, a stunning film. I love Police Academy 1, and it's the one I loved the most as a kid, and the one I love the most now. It's just a great film, really, for me. Great comedy, and a lot of people criticise it, and the first three, I'd say, are definitely underrated, and they don't deserve the negative sort of reviews that they have. But yeah, in particular, Police Academy 1 is a stunning film, and I love it from start to finish. So yeah, that's my ranking, of all the Police Academy films, and definitely recommend this set, for the first three films, and just to really see how bad the rest of them are, and prepare yourself for 5 and 7 in particular. But really, yeah, this franchise as a whole is not great because of the films from 4 onwards, really. But for the first three, for what they were really good, for the most part. And overall, I can't wait to rewatch them over the years, again and again. I'm never watching 7 again, but yes, or 5 actually. But yes, that was my ranking of the Police Academy films. And of course, as always, leave any comments you please, and get some discussions going about what your ranking of the series is. If you've seen them all, and of course, check out my playlist for the individual reviews. And thanks for watching my ranking of the Police Academy films.